Hey everybody, welcome back to the Coff-Man Show. I'm your host, Mike Coffman. So, what I was talking about earlier, as far as going into production for some audio, I have a good clip right here. Um, Basically, it's let me see if I can get a better angle. Gotta adjust the stand, make everything look symmetrical. There we go. So when you're dealing with the audio um, aspect of it, you really want to make sure that you keep your clips clean. So like right here, um, I said, I stumbled over a word is essentially what I did. So how I'm going to fix that is I'm going to delete that one and then I'll just pick up where I left off. But that's easy to do with Audacity. So I like to go back and listen. So you can't hear it, but I can. So go back a little further. All right, so there's my spaces in my audio. So this is going to be the beginning of the next paragraph. So we're on this paragraph right here, and okay, so we're at the top of this paragraph right here on the first. Well, it would be what, the second sentence. So we're going to start pick up right here, where it's going to say, um, a few stragglers huddled near the window, their silhouettes framed by the city skyline. Right. So let's go ahead and. All right, so that's where we're going to pick up at. So I'm not going to read that for you because that would be considered a production sharing. I can't do that because that's copyright infringement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video here for my sake, read the audio, and then I'll be back to tell you or share whatever struggles I run into with as far as the audio itself goes. So stand by. All right, so what we encountered here was this author is telling us a story about a office party that has essentially or is essentially going to turn into an affair between two coworkers, even though they know they're not supposed to have this relationship. They're still going to have the relationship. Um, I'm at the very beginning, the very first story. There is 148 pages to this book. I've been working on it for going on 2.5 months now. I'm looking to have it finished hopefully by the end of January. But this is just something I want to put out to you guys, let you know that just because you have one or you see oh my gosh, I can't even talk. um, just because you listen to one story by a narrator or a voice actor or whoever is reading the story to you doesn't mean that you or that is their only story. They may have multiple stories going on at one time. Like me, I have 4 going on right now. One in full production that is literally this close to being completed, and the other 3, um, I'm still just kind of working through the kinks with them. Doing 2 for this author right here, and I have 1 for a new author. Um, that story we've talked about in the past. I was excited about being able to be part of that production team. Um, the story itself is called Phenomenon Monsters Escape to Earth. These are the 4 books I'm working on. Monsters Find is the one that I just finished. If you've been following me for any amount of time, you know that I have that pretty much, that's done. I'm just waiting on communication back from the author regarding some end credits. So let's see here. So I'm ready to submit for a review. Here's all my audio, but it requires me to have a closing credits file. So I want to her input as far as how she wants me to put the closing credits. Um, Once again, it's nothing major on either end of the author or myself, but it is, however, something that is important to the storyline. So there is that. Huh, my computer's always doing something. So that being said, I just wanted to let you guys know what the struggle is like to go through as the narrator on this end, where you saw I have in my projects tab. So I go to my projects here. Um, if I go over to in production, there's we'll go to the offers first. So these are the four that I'm doing. This one's the one that's completed. This is the new one that I got by Jonathan Spain Collins. I'm excited about that one. Really am. Reading the audition for it really kind of caught my attention the way the read goes. Um, it is kind of it can be triggering. I'll read the beginning of it as far as like the trigger warnings. That'll be in the initial um, beginning of the book, but it is a good so far what I read of it, and I read the first three pages today um, to myself because, like I said in previous videos, I like to read out loud to myself before I actually go into production, just so I know what I'm looking at. But I like the way it's written. It is written really well. Monsters Find. That was a PNR book, paranormal romance. It was a story about a human who falls in love with a monster and they end up becoming mated for life. The other two stories that I have that are in production currently is Velvet Chains, 10 Billionaire Romance Short Stories of Power, Obsession, and Surrender by S.M. Lucky, and then 10 After Hours Affairs, 10 Illicit Office Encounters where professionalism unravels and desire takes control. Also written by S.M. Lucky. She's been wonderful. She's been great working with me on some things. Great to get back to. I enjoy working with her very much. I can't share any of her uh, audio with you because I haven't gotten permission from her yet. I've messaged her about it. Just waiting to hear back from her regarding that. But that being said, I'm looking to probably hear back from her probably sometime next week. And these are our production, what we have in production, obviously. So if you're interested in what's going on, please feel free to follow along and just you know, enjoy the stories as they come out and as they come along. We we try to post a video or a YouTube video every day, multiple times a day. Shorts, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. I do at least one 20-minute podcast on Podbean a day. At the very least, it'll be a 10-minute episode just to kind of give you guys what's going on. I want to keep you guys informed as much as I would like to have been informed when I first got into this industry, whereas I wasn't given anything. I was just kind of thrown into it, and I jumped in feet first and hoped for the best, and found out that I was the worst person in the world at this. And turns out that I just progressively got better with time. Things I didn't know that I'm learning along the way, that I know that you guys are going to find out along the way, are the things that I share with you in my shorts. The edits for Audacity, the plugins that I talk about, the continuation of what is involved in this industry as far as what you need to know and how hard it is to not only thrive in this field but to be good at it, because you can't just go in and expect to be great. You you will start out, if you have no background in it like myself, and it will suck, but the more you do, the better you become, and it just continues over time throughout that. um, Progression, I mean, it's fun, it's enjoyable, it's difficult. You're gonna get frustrated. You're gonna want to quit and throw everything away, but you can't. It's not a normal job. It's not a normal career field. You can't just say, "Hey, I don't want to do this anymore," because you have people counting on you to deliver a story, and that story is the story that they put their heart and soul, blood and sweat and tears into. That you, if you care enough, you're trying to bring the written word to life for them. So, in closing, I'd like to say thank you guys again for the following, for the subscribing, for everything that you guys have done to help keep the channel going and bringing it to life. Enjoying the podcast. I really hope you guys have been able to interact with that. Definitely just keep following. The story gets better as it goes, and I'll get better as I go. And the more stories we have, the better we can get out there to deliver. I look forward to Adolf Hitler's painting story that I'm gonna cast out on the podcast next week. Like I said, tomorrow and throughout the weekend, I'll be working on that, casting that, as well as getting it set up for you guys to have a good listen on the first 4 pages. I know that author is excited to see that come to life, so we'll go from there, ladies and gentlemen. So thanks again for following the Coff-Man Show. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow.